Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I have built yet another blanket fort for better sound quality. So let's go with today's speed build, which is finally Equilibrio's land bridge. It's been a while since I uploaded the entrance, which this is actually tied to, so I'll go ahead and link that one down below. But today it's finally time to focus a little bit more on what the entrance leads into, which is my curved land bridge and also my house. So this is basically two things in one. It's quite a big area. Initially, I was going to put it all with the entrance together in one video, but considering the length of this video, that would have been way too long. But let's settle in, let's get cozy, and let's look at this. So the first thing I did is I kind of built these platforms almost next to each other or like in a diagonal pattern. I just made like a slightly bigger platform at the bottom, and then I wanted this to be like a two-tiered land bridge. So then I made the one at the top, and you end up with this very funny looking construction. Also, a little disclaimer, I edited out quite a bunch with this speed build. Whenever I filled in cliffs or I did a bunch of waterscaping, I actually took it out because this was like almost an hour long, even at 4 times the speed. So you can kind of imagine how long this must have taken me. I'll explain a few more of my struggles with this area in just a bit. But yeah, and then you can kind of see me connect these little platforms. Now, one tip that I would like to give you in case you ever do want to build a curved land bridge, like a mistake that I made so that you don't have to, basically build a bigger platform at the bottom. I didn't want to build too much because I didn't want to have to take it all down again later on, but I struggled so much and I went back and forth to, add a bit more platform at the bottom to fit a little bit more at the top, and then it wasn't enough, so I had to go back down. And it was really, while building it, I know I was like frustrated, but I was also determined not to build too much that I had to tear down later on. But also while editing, trust me, just build a little bit of a bigger platform and then take it down later on, so that you can move a little bit more freely at the top. I think that'll take away some of the frustration. But yeah, and the idea of why I did those platforms at the very start is because then you really get a good curve. If you've watched the entrance speed build, you might know that I've actually done this area twice. I struggled with this. It was hard. And the first time I built it up, like the first land bridge, it wasn't curved enough. Like it was just almost too straight. And I think I tried to fit trees on there as well, which made me realize that you have to make the platform super big, which furthermore kind of takes away that curved look. So after tearing it all completely down and doing a little bit of a different approach for the second time around, I decided to go with the platform approach and really put them put them in a diagonal kind of way and then connect them, which gave me a very nice curve. And then towards the end here, I didn't really know how to end the land bridge, which you'll also see me struggle with for a little bit. I didn't really know where to end it or anything like that. And then you'll later on see me kind of fill in the platform down below and then kind of figure out a spot for my house, because I knew I wanted the land bridge to lead into my house. So for anybody who doesn't know, Equilibrio, which is the island we're currently on, is a 4 seasons island. So at this point, when I made the entrance and like the entire land bridge and everything, I actually had already divided the island into 4 different parts, which you kind of see with a little bit of waterscaping around the sides, and then also there is like a bridge in the background, which is kind of already determining the fall and winter section, as you can see kind of indicated by the pathing. And then the entrance and land bridge are more in like a witchy overgrown style, because my main character here is supposed to be a witch who split the island into the 4 parts. And so I wanted this house, or I wanted the entrance and land bridge to lead into the house, and everything to be super overgrown and I don't know, whimsical and witchy. And then my house was supposed to be at the end of the land bridge, surrounded by cliffs, which you'll kind of see me establish from now on. Also, a little heads up. At first, I had the house in a black and white customization because I had this image of like a very elegant witch on the outside, or like a witch, like a queen witch, I think I called her for a while, or I still call her, but the aesthetics have kind of changed because with everything I tried out, I think I also had like a regular 9 telepathing on the previous line bridge. It just wasn't working out. Like the white and black contrast was just too much for the rest of the ideas that I had for this, because much like the entrance, I once again wanted to use the ruin items, like the new ones, you know, that you have, that you like craft with the vines. And it was just like the black and white just wasn't working with it. So I will actually customize this house later on, but for now it is still this like black and white. And then here we are establishing the kind of surrounding cliffs. This really needed to be pretty much like a circle, and then I did need to leave a bit of space for an incline, because obviously you still need to get to the house, and you know, it already is kind of limited to the front with the ladder, so I wanted there to be an incline at least there. I seriously am just very, very happy I can finally share this. You probably have seen this kind of in the entrance video already, or also in the Equilibrio update that I gave you a little while ago. I think from that one, like from that video, stuff has changed once again, because I can report back that the summer area, save for the beaches aren't done anywhere, but the summer area actually is completely done. And the spring area is almost completely done, except for the beaches. The beaches will be another task completely. Oh my God, I don't know. I'm scared of the beaches. Anyway, here I'm just, you know, once again, trying to find ways to curve some cliffs to make it look a little bit more natural, not as straight, not as like artificial almost, and curving the outside as well. I once again added more platform at the bottom, you know, because I didn't have enough room. And then as for this like ring around my house, the one thing I did pay attention to was that I had enough room for trees, and most of the time even like 2 lines of trees, if that makes sense. So I needed it to be at least 4 tiles wide. Most of the time, I have to say, trees are pretty much what determines my land and waterscaping. But yeah, I'm really happy I can finally share this, because it's, oh my God, it's been a while. I am not kidding when I tell you that the first clip for this was literally filmed on the 18th of November. Yep, you heard that right, in November. It's February now, so that's almost, well, it's over 2.5 months, I think, since I built the first thing for this area. What took me so long? It's a very good question. A few things combined. First of all, I only finished this entire build, I think around Christmas or a little bit after Christmas, because I kept coming back to it. I kept like adding tiny bits and portions. Like I started with the entrance, and then I kind of needed a little bit of a break. And I think the last bit, which was the area around my house, was decorated around Christmas. And then I moved at the start of January, and things got very messy and very jumbled. And then I started a new island called Naporia, of which I just uploaded the entrance speed build. I'll link that down below. I was too excited about that one, and I really needed to push it out because I was so happy with it. And to be fair with you, I also procrastinated this a little bit, maybe, because yeah, I don't know. I think you can kind of see it. And like I said, I did cut like quite a few things out, you know, like just filling in cliffs, or later on the waterscaping kind of around the land bridge, because everything I did was just completely adapted to the shape that I had established at the very top, you know, like even the bottom cliffs, I completely shaped them around the land bridge. I only left a little bit of space here and there for like a tree or something, and then the same thing for water. And apart from that, I don't exactly know why I struggled with this so much. I think it's like a combination of how big the area is, you know, and everything kind of leads into each other, so it's not as easy to just decorate small chunks of it. And then I think because of almost like a forced perspective character, like, you know, this is like the land bridge that you kind of always walk over, you always walk in like the same direction. It's either forward or backwards. There is no other path for you to take. And then the cliff circle around my house, as you will see later on, I didn't want that to be accessible. I don't want you to walk there. I just want it to be a vibe. Like, you're supposed to kind of climb up the ladder, walk on the land bridge, and everything is like super exciting and impressive and stuff. And then you go towards the house, and suddenly there's all these trees and everything's super overgrown. And then you kind of go down the stair or like the incline, and the house reveals itself. And I wanted that to be like the thing. So everything has to be seen from a certain perspective, right? So like the house area needs to look good from the start of the land bridge, and then also the bottom portions, like the water has to look good from the upstairs, as I like to call it. And so I had to continuously go back and forth and look at everything, and that was hard to work with while editing, and I kind of suspected that already. So I think that's like a big part of it. Yeah, also, I'm not talking about what I'm doing at all, but most of it is pretty self-explanatory. Like I had mentioned before, I did try like a single 9-tile pathing on this bridge before, but like on the previous version, but I didn't like it because whenever you put a 9-tile pathing down, like the code directly on the grass, it doesn't have as much contrast. And I found that with the single tile pathing, like I did here, like this long path of the in-game like dark dirt, sorry, it gives you a lot more contrast. Like if you put the planks down, it makes them really just as dark as you see them in the app and stuff. And that's really what I could work with very well. And then, like I said, like the entrance, I wanted to use a bunch of the ruin items with the vines, generally a lot of vines, of course. And then I also wanted to add those blue touches in. So the colors you see in this build are pretty much the green from like a green, the green mum or the glowing moss, but also some of the black flowers, or it's more like a brown, dark red-ish. And then of course some blue touches here and there, which also once again ties in with the water. I did include this little island that I made here because I feel like this is a little bit more special, and this is part of the land bridge build. A lot of the other areas surrounding the water is more of the seasonal build already, so I didn't include that. But that little island to the left that you just saw, I did include that one, and I'll come back to it later and decorate a little bit more. Also, there are some time of day changes, as you can see, and sometimes I don't notice exactly when I decorate. Like I always try to decorate with like the same type of weather so that it's not like raining or something. But oftentimes I don't realize how different the lighting is until I get to the editing portion and I put it together, and then I switch from like a almost golden hour kind of lighting to this like incredibly blue sky, and it's like, oh my god, this is very different. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, question mark. It'll be interesting to kind of select a time of day for this dream address in the very end, because all the areas are so different and I haven't quite established a time when they all look the best, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Something I had to do quite a bit with this build was cliff decorating, which is usually not really my favorite thing because you don't have a lot of space. As you can see, there is not space for any trees here, which makes it hard for me to decorate, quite honestly. Usually trees are like one of the first things that I do with any build, but here I really couldn't. So I had to find a few different ways to get some height maybe. And then it's very narrow and tiny spaces that you have to kind of fill with items, and for the limited amount of items that I wanted to use in this build, you know, the limited colors and stuff, not to have that be repetitive is a little hard. It's a little hard. And then, yeah, you also see me go back and forth here a little bit and switch out a few flowers because I found I don't like the lilies, you know? And so the only black flowers I was using are tulips and cosmos, but that can get very repetitive. So I had to go back and forth and change it quite a bit. In the end, I always kind of think that it doesn't really matter. Like I shouldn't overthink stuff like that, but when I'm in the actual decorating, it's always a little hard to tell that to myself. So yeah, you see me You see me go back and forth. And then also putting the designs on the pathing. This is actually something I quite enjoy doing because you start out with this almost boring in-game pathing, and then you make it so aesthetic with like the designs over top. Speaking about that, I think one of my next videos will be a like everything you need to know about custom designs, where I talk a bit about some almost like tips and tricks I think I learned over time. I hope that that's interesting to some. It's something I would have loved to know at the very start. I think back when I was working on Neverland with the circular pathing, and then also when I established like the single tile pathing that I'm doing here, I was very confused about a few things. So I hope it helps a few people, but that is something I've been thinking about for a while. And yeah, there's a few other videos I've been talking about for a little bit, and they're all like, I don't know, with a little bit more effort of planning what I say and stuff, but I'm really excited to get to those. And it's time for more cliff decorating. I did think about taking this little part out because I just go around the back cliff, and I think I alternate between different flowers and different weeds, but I decided to leave that in because I think I don't know, I feel like it's quite good to know that you don't have to overthink these decorations. You see me put down these things quite quickly, I think. But for me personally, as the no tile left behind kind of person, which means I like to just put something on every single tile on my island, it helps me to know that the back of this cliff is also decorated, you know? It helps me to think of this area as done. Like, I know if I had left that open and just be like, you know, weeds will spread, it's fine, whatever, I would have had it at the back of my mind for the entire time, and I probably would have returned to it at the very end and be like, okay, this is not done. I need to just like spread around some weeds and something. I'm also not quite sure, but I do think I left the top cliff accessible later on, like very, very much later on, so that I can actually stand there and take a picture of like that bridge that you saw by the fall and winter section. I'm not entirely sure though, I need to check. But also for that one, I think you would kind of see a few of these flowers kind of in the picture, around the picture frame almost. And so yeah, it's good to know that it's done. Same thing with these islands. Also something I might procrastinate on a little bit, which is not good for my new island because that island is only those types of islands, because they're really hard to decorate. You always have to take stuff down again and remove trees and everything, but once you're done with it, it feels I always feel very accomplished, so that's good, I guess. And then it is time to establish the trees. Like I said, I wanted this to be very overgrown. Like from the open land bridge, you come to this area around my house, which is supposed to be just littered with trees. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I did take out the part of the video or the part of the speed build where I established all of these different holes that you see here, which is like spots for trees, because oh my God, was I struggling. It's kind of funny to see now because this was a little while ago, and I'm like, what the heck did I do here? Why does this seem so hard when it feels quite obvious now to know where the trees ended up and stuff. So that was fun to watch, I guess. But yeah, I trust me, it's better that I cut it out. It's definitely better. And then step number 1, we're spreading around a bunch of glowing moss. I wanted this to be a huge, huge part of this build. I mean, they came with a new update. They were exciting. They were new. I wanted them everywhere. But I also have to say, can I just rant for a little bit about the glowing moss? Because it has no reason to be this complicated. Sometimes I want a tall weed, and I literally had to place it 10 times to get it that way. And other times it's exactly the opposite. Oh my God, this was frustrating. Is anyone else struggling? Like, I'm already struggling with the regular weeds, but there's only like 3 different versions of that. So like the I don't know, the chances of you getting the right ones is like okay-ish. For the glowing moss, oh my God, I can't really. I don't know why I'm doing another island where I use them like a lot, because it's really, it's so much stress. And then sometimes it doesn't work out. I just wanna throw my controller through the room. It's not great. It's not great. You know that TikTok or like reel with the emotional damage? That's one of the clips that you can use there. Oh my God. Anyway, back to the fun things about this. As you can see, I did litter around a bunch of the ruins once again. I think this in the middle of trees and like the trees itself, that was the most important for me. And then a lot of the space, or all of the space in between, I just filled with flowers and shrubs. I also edited out like a little bit of that, because in between the trees, it was really not the best experience to watch this in like 4 times the speed, because I constantly tilt like down to see stuff. And so yeah, I didn't include all of this, but I did include like the most important parts where I placed like the pillars and stuff. And then every time I do have like a pillar or something like that placed down, I also later on added some codes underneath. I always use those leaf filler codes because I don't know, they're subtle enough to work just underneath things, but they also, same thing as with the decorating of the back cliff. When stuff is covered in codes underneath items, it makes the area feel more finished to me personally. And I know I'm completely overdoing it with the codes sometimes. I'm working on that a little bit, but sometimes they really help an area kind of come together, I feel like. And then we're spreading just some blue touches once again. I did just want these to be like an accent color, but it was a great color to incorporate. I feel like it makes this build much more interesting. So sometimes even when you're sticking to a specific color scheme, another pop of color can be super fun. I'm actually doing, oh my God, I feel like Naporia is kind of like continued Equilibrio entrance land bridge area, because I'm literally doing the same thing there. My main color is green, and then I think I'm using a few white flowers, and my pop of color is blue. So I'm doing the same thing there, but it's fun. That proves that I like it, I guess. And last bit of pathing to put codes on is this leading towards my house. It's a little bit of an odd shape, but you'll see, or well, hopefully see in a second, that with all the decorations around it and everything, it actually ends up working out because some parts are covered with a tree, or I also ended up adding a little bit of a plank path towards that glowing moss pond. Can we talk about that item? I love it. I love it. If you haven't done that yet, please stand in front of it and press A. It makes me so happy. And like obviously for my like witchy house, I needed this. Also, speaking of, I didn't even realize, but the house is now in a different customization. And hello, isn't it beautiful? I love it so much. It's like the perfect. I don't know why I didn't think of this from the very start, but it's like the perfect customization for this area. And I will give you, like always, a final walkthrough at the very end, and you can kind of see the path from like the land bridge to this house and through the trees. I love it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I struggled with this build and I struggled with the editing of this build, but I am happy with the outcome, and I think it's a very important part on this island, and yeah, so I really did want to share it. Something else I used a lot in this entire area is the wedding candles. I wanted to have those because, candles really do send off like a witchy vibe. And I think the wedding candles are by far my favorite candle item in the game because of the 3 different heights of them. Also you saw me press A on the glowing moss pond right there. Isn't that amazing? I'm obsessed. I like these candles a lot because of the different heights. You can also turn them different ways, which makes it look very different, so you can use them quite a few times without it feeling too repetitive. I feel like I personally only use the leaf customization. I don't really know what it's called, that one, but the one that has the leaves at the very bottom, because it fit the nature witch vibe, you know. And just like the other areas, we're spreading around some flowers, you know. I think I only used green and black in this area because I had the pops of blue on like the top cliff, but yeah, I like the color scheme a lot. It's also something I really gravitate towards too, is like anything dark green, kind of like the house almost, and then any darker colors, more muted colors, and green. And the blue, I think the blue flowers I just love. I don't know. They're really awesome. And then as I'm adding the finishing touches, I do want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future updates. I will probably be done with this island sometime in the future, so yeah. And then I hope you have an awesome time until I hopefully see you in the next video.